China's war on particulate air pollution has caused more severe ozone pollution, according to new research. There was so much particulate matter in the smog around Chinese cities that it helped to quell ozone production by acting as a sponge that collected chemical radicals.
The start of a new year is often seen as a moment of transition, an opportunity to reflect on the past and look ahead to what the future might hold. Whether it was the best year of our lives or one we'd rather forget, the hope is that better days are ahead. The gray wolf is an extremely adaptable species that survived the last ice age. Its physical characteristics enabled it to adapt quickly to the harsh conditions of the ice age, and its cunning and adaptation helped it survive in the changing environment. Although Mandarin is the most commonly spoken dialect, many people use the word Chinese to refer to it. However, roughly 70% of the country speaks Mandarin, and many other dialects are also spoken. The languages are mutually intelligible to a varying degree, depending on how close they are to one another. As far as we know, nothing can move faster than light. According to Einstein's theories of relativity, it takes an infinite amount of energy to accelerate an object with mass up to the speed of light. Therefore, having a spacecraft traveling at or exceeding the speed of light is seemingly impossible. Concentration is a measure of how much solute is dissolved in a solvent in a chemical solution. There are multiple units of concentration, and the choice of which unit to use depends on how the chemical solution will be used. The most common units are mass percent, volume percent, and mole fraction.
The doctor is also a creative writing tutor and author. The doctor is also a creative writing tutor and author.
The periodical is a publication that is issued regularly. The periodical is a publication that is issued regularly. The court had absolved him of all responsibility for the accident. The court had absolved him of all responsibility for the accident. You can join our virtual open day to learn more about the campus. You can join our virtual open day to learn more about the campus. The exhibition has told us the fascinating story of the steam age. The exhibition has told us the fascinating story of the steam age. Fruit and vegetables grow in abundance on this small island. Fruit and vegetables grow in abundance on this small island. The worker had absented himself from the office for the day. The worker had absented himself from the office for the day. Parents should set a good example to their children. Parents should set a good example to their children. The students will have enough time to ask questions after the talk. The students will have enough time to ask questions after the talk. Make sure you correctly cite all your sources. Make sure you correctly cite all your sources. The housing sales have been turning down since the last summer. The housing sales have been turning down since the last summer.
He studies in particular the fishes of the Indian Ocean. He studies in particular the fishes of the Indian Ocean.
So there are two theories for how the gas giants formed. One is the same theory I showed you just now, core accretion, right? And the other is called disk instability, and one of our colleagues at DTM has done a lot of work on that, and so it's unclear exactly how they formed, but you're right. What we're trying to do, the reason we're trying to get the higher and higher pressure in the lab is because we are trying to understand more about the pressure inside the gas giants. It's thought that the gas giants also have a metallic core, but maybe the metallic core not made of iron, hydrogen, for example, becomes metallic at a certain pressure. So it's very possible that the insides of these planets could have metallic cores, could have hydrogen cores, could have rocky portions. We're not sure. But the higher pressure we can get in the lab, the closer we can get understanding the interiors of the gas giants and the exoplanet that are so big.
In today's lecture, I'm going to talk about changes in air pollution since the middle of the last century and what has created these changes. So, by the 1950s, air pollution was very visible with frequent thick, black fogs known as smogs in many large cities around the world. The main source of this pollution was from factories, and it caused severe health problems. For example, a particularly severe smog in London in 1952 caused over 4,000 deaths. Obviously something had to be done, and in 1956 a Clean Air Act was introduced in Britain. This addressed the pollution from factories, and the smogs soon disappeared. However, as you know, these days air pollution is still a big issue. The main difference between now and the 1950s is that you can't see it, it's invisible. Also, the main source of pollution now is from cars and lorries, and although these don't produce visible signs, this air pollution is still a significant risk to health. And one of the key factors in the rise of this type of pollution is that we have all become much more vehicle dependent. There are far more cars and lorries, trains and planes than in the 1950s, and this is now the main source of air pollution around the world. Which part of our body is related to the word optical? Which part of our body is related to the word optical? Eye. What do people cast in an election? What do people cast in an election? Vote, ballot. What includes everything in the world such as stars and planets? What includes everything in the world such as stars and planets? Universe, cosmos. What do we describe the space with no air in it? What do we describe the space with no air in it? Vacuum. What makes a refrigerator or any other electrical devices work? What makes a refrigerator or any other electrical devices work? Electricity. What do we call a scientist who studies planets and stars? What do we call a scientist who studies planets and stars? Astronomer.